I look there. I look there. Go! Yeah! Woo! One, swagger! Ha, 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 ha. Go! Ha, 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 ha. Look at here. Look there. Go! 2, 3, 4. Okay, we make. Sir, you look down. No, what I make? Sorry. Sir, and look back. Are you stressed?
Hello, this is Juma Anderson. Right, there's a new project, a new way to approach HIV/AIDS, because it's done over and over again, but we're trying to look at other avenues through which we can approach it. And what a better way to go to approach this menacing disease through beauty. And that's why we're using Miss World Kenya to spread the word, spread the gospel, especially to the young generation and to the men that, you know, can't zip up. Well, I don't mean you, but I know there are those that can't zip up. So we're using these beautiful models to go around the schools and colleges and such like institutions to create an awareness. It's been done over and over through, you know, the media, but you somehow need someone to come and talk to you up close. Someone that perhaps has been infected, or someone that knows someone that has been, you know, infected or affected, whether negative or positive. But the fact is we're using, you know, the beautiful ladies across the country to spread the word. It is actually something exciting, because we don't want to just present beauty without brains now, do we? We don't. That's why we're using these ladies. And I hope your input would take us a long way, because this is a disease that, if not checked, is going to wipe the human race. And that's why we need your support. And that's why artists and me included and other, you know, like-minded people are coming up, you know, giving the little that we can to support the beauties in our country, and to also enlighten those who don't know, because you can't say that everyone knows. So please give us a hand so that we can, you know, help achieve our goal.
Hello, my name is Lydia Dola. I'm a musician and a guitarist, and I use art for social change. And today we are concentrating on HIV/AIDS because a lot of people have died in Kenya and the world from AIDS itself. And we are using the beautiful ladies to highlight the HIV/AIDS issues everywhere in the country. And more so, we're not just targeting the beauties, we are targeting everybody. But the reason why we've taken the beauties and art and musicians is because we believe that art has the power to send out a message, and it speaks louder than words. Because I will say that as Kenyans, we are not the people to sit down in forums for a long time and be educated. But as we're using the models and the musicians and the comedians and the actors and actresses, it's going to pass the message more louder, and people are going to remember. Because when one person is infected, we are all affected in a way, in one way or the other. And then again, if one is already infected, we would like to urge the wider members of the country and the wider citizens to at least give them some hope in future and in their lives, because it's not the end of the world. They still need to move on. They need to eat well, to exercise, and to live, you know, because now we are happy that we have ARVs, and we are not supposed to discriminate them in the society. they're part of us, and they're still working the way they used to work. So let's join hands and let's just speak out against this disease. And it is good to be tested so that you also know your status and you will know how to live positively with it. And yes, and if you're not infected, then you're supposed to know at least there's the use of condoms, and there's the sometimes you sustain if you don't really have to sleep with people. You can sustain and wait for your time, for the right time, get married for the young people. And yes, so let's join hands and say no to HIV/AIDS.
My name is Thomas Oyolo, aka Professor. That's my stage name, and here today we are talking about AIDS. And as you know, AIDS is real. The pictures that you're about to see and the discussions and all activities that you're about to watch, everything is real. My call is, let's team up and fight this deadly killer.
Everyday life in Bondo Hospital. Patients hospitalized in the late stages of AIDS, and doctors overwhelmed by the sheer volume of sick people they receive every day from the beaches.
According to our data, most of the patients who come from the beach who are fishermen, most of them, around 70% of them, usually test positive. Okay, according to what we realize, it's because of the activities that go on in the beach. Every home is affected. You will hardly find any home that had never been affected by HIV virus. You will find that there are some homes that are left without the parents, children are left alone. You will find that there are some homes that the children are only left with the grandees, no parents.
Lake Victoria is home to one of Africa's biggest fishing industries and a population devastated by AIDS. Here the men man the boats, but the business is run by women. Competition between these women is fierce. Everything rests on the catch, and whoever manages to get their hands on it. But an exploitative process of procurement has grown up around the industry, creating a system that has also played straight into the hands of the AIDS virus. It is called the Jaboya system and describes the relationship between the fishermen and the women who buy their fish. Frequently, this relationship is sexual. Women who offer sex to the fishermen stand a better chance of getting fish.
To mondo mi utudru kodgi ka gibi rech mana kibedo siepne munyalo timo kode sex kor kunyalo mi rech to kamano onge to kunyalo mi omai to miyo ngama chiel manyalo miye.
Julia is one such Jaboya. Her husband died of AIDS, leaving her without support and no alternative but to join the Jaboya system.
Okober to gima chuna mondo mi atim mano nikech yuto na onge kaka nyalo yudo. Adong kenda tadong nyithindo makie koro yo mora mora manyalo yudo godo pesa onge mak mana ka gimiya kamane kanyalo yudo kaka konyra gi nyithindo.
Leaving little room for trust. Julia is yet to tell her lover that she is HIV positive because the consequences would be catastrophic for her and her young family.
Okanyise to luoro makani kanyise to bro weya koro onge ka bro konyra.
And the sexual obligations of these women do not end with the fishermen. The fish must be transferred to market while it is still fresh. And competition for space on the roof of the bus can be just as intense as getting hold of the fish in the first place. This woman is one of the fish vendors. These practices serve to create a network of sexual contacts that have allowed the virus to not only take hold in this community, but also to wreak havoc. Ndeda Island is one of the worst hit communities in the area. From a 1997 population of 6,000, just 2,400 remain. Ignorance, by contrast, remains commonplace. Each morning, this woman comes down to the beach to help with the morning catch. And once the fish have been sold, she's on the lookout for a different catch.
Wanda wuk mana yotanda naka. Kendo mana kuma antie banda kacha. Sicha moko kucho rach to koni ber. Nitie joma ohero kondom to nitie joma wacho ni pien gi pien. Koro jomoko ohero to jomoko ok ohero. Anbe koka dwaro pesa. Ok ng'ama onyisa ni ok odwar kondom, an kodi gi firi oketa keta nono. Ok anyal bedo gi luoro mar thogono nikech en gima nitiere. Ok anyal bedo gi luoro nikech en gima nitie. Sasa onyalo donjo kuoma, sasa onyalo donjo kuom ng'ato. Koro miyo atimo gigi ka onge gi luoro kata dichiel.
And the impact of this fatalism is clear for all to see. All around the lake stand the ruined houses of AIDS victims, victims as much of culture as disease. In addition to the widespread practice of polygamy, with some men marrying as many as 6 wives, local culture dictates that when a man dies, a close member of his family should inherit his wife. Margaret's husband died in 1997, leaving her alone with 6 children. But she thanks her Christian faith for giving her the courage to resist the social pressure to be inherited by her husband's brother.
And because me myself am saved, I decided not to be inherited. And you know, when you are not inherited, and like my community, they cannot like me because they think I'm going against their customary. But you can stand by yourself and say, you are a Christian, you cannot accept to be inherited. And that is what happened to myself. But my co-wife accepted to be inherited, and maybe that is why she's no longer with us.
Margaret now looks after not only her own children, but those of her co-wife as well. It is a fate shared by many of her neighbors, who often call on Margaret for support.
Her husband is the one who inherited my co-wife. And later on, he also died. So she's also a widow now.
Margaret is herself HIV positive, and it is thanks to her enlightened attitude as well as the antiretroviral drugs that she takes that she is still alive. Responsibility for this young family now falls on the shoulders of 14-year-old Beatrice, who since her parents died has been forced to drop in and out of school as she struggles to look after her siblings. Today, lunch for one must be shared by 6.
Nutu atuoya, bas kuru kugik kar thone to nyiso mam magere. Nien odhi to AIDS ema en godo. Seche moko wanindo kech, seche moko kadhi kadina mabiro atholo kadhi uso. Eka wachiem ka onge to wanindo kech. wanyalo kata nindo kech kanyuka mwamadho kwakwamo ga od ng'ato.
Beatrice tries to meet their needs with the little money she earns for smoking fish, but this puts her in daily contact with fishermen and leaves her vulnerable to the Jaboya system. Lazarus Ouma is an AIDS awareness campaigner who travels the beaches and islands trying to hammer home the message of prevention. But many people still deny the existence of HIV, believing the disease to be a curse visited on those people who break customary law. Lazarus's message often falls on deaf ears, except for an occasional moment of humor.
Very slowly. You cannot get a poor man struggling for a transport, going to Bondo to and fro, simply for the test. Now, she or he will just stay here, not knowing the health status, simply because we are far away from the hospital. So they still go on doing their sexual immoralities without any preventive measures, because they think they are okay. So the spread still goes on because they are not aware.
Indeed, the only time that most HIV-infected people make it from the beach to the nearby town of Bondo comes when they arrive at the mortuary. This man is a nurse by trade, but is working after hours at the family mortuary because of the sheer number of bodies they are receiving.
Okay, apparently we have 11 bodies, and most of the bodies that we are seeing here, they are people who have died of HIV/AIDS. And day in, day out, people come here crying of this killer disease. It's terrible. It's creating havoc in this community. Most of our people, even the homes around, they're dying of this disease. If we don't get help or we find a proper way to curb this disaster, then I think the community is going to get distinct, to say the least.
Many people here still believe AIDS is a curse, and they're right. More than 20 years after Lake Victoria was first hit with HIV, children still bury their parents. And these funerals look set to continue until the fishing community of Lake Victoria comes to realize that AIDS is a disease that can be prevented.
Why do you think we don't implement, not necessarily us, but even our friends? We have girl talk and, bigger story and all. And why do you think we don't implement these things? Everything that has been said, like abstinence, being faithful, using condoms, yeah? That's all covered in the ABC. Why don't we do that? What are your thoughts on that?
The money factor, really. You find like somebody, okay, maybe you don't have finances in your family, so you go look for money outside. You go look for money, you don't even think that you might get HIV and AIDS. Yeah, so just go looking for money, find money, then at the end of it, you also have HIV and AIDS. So maybe poverty also counts in.
Taking a point to go to a VCT center to get tested, people are really scared of the results, and out of it, as she said, there's ignorance because you don't want to know about it. You'd rather stay not knowing about it because it won't hurt you. Yeah, that's what they think.
Sharing sharp objects, drug abuse can also be an issue, because when someone is a drug addict, let's say nicotine, and he uses needles, he can really pressure you to share with him, or you can take it and maybe you are so free with each other, friends, you also accept. In that way you can also be infected. Also there's this issue of condoms, peer pressure. There's this understanding among teens that when you use a condom, it's not as enjoyable as using without. So when you hear your friends say, you can also be tempted to use without, not knowing that you are risking your life and you're going to be infected with HIV.
When somebody see you joining this organization or meetings or something, the only thing people always say that you are also infected. So most of the people sometimes are afraid because when you do this, they'll say you are also infected, that's why you are doing that. So people are very neglect those such things.
Ignorance is really, really true. We ignore, and you can't say it's illiteracy because it's all over the place. It's on TVs, radios. So you can't say it's illiteracy. It's more of ignorance. Then the poverty thing, stigma, the thing you're saying, it's people are scared to talk about HIV. That's also a form of stigma because they feel like if I talk about it, guys think I'm positive. But the funny thing, even me, most guys in school used to think because I'm in the AIDS control unit and I'm more of talking about it so much, they're like, hey, even her, she has HIV, she's positive. But it's okay, me, I don't mind because at the end of the day, you know yourself. Sindo. And even if you have, the better, so that they talk about it and they've spread the word. Sindo. Someone has understood and like, hey, if someone can, like her can get, let me even me keep away and stuff like that and use protection or something, you know. So let them tell people that, hey, because you're skinny, you're dealing with people who have HIV when you're positive. It's okay, by the way, it's also an achievement because you've reached your goal.
So we want to talk about AIDS. HIV and AIDS. What is the meaning of this? Who knows? Yasim. Yeah.
Acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And acquire means get from, immune means it affects the immune system. Deficiency is the lack of, and syndrome is a group of signs.
And it is not just the lack of. It is the lack of your body to fight these other small diseases. You know, the body has the ability to fight diseases. Easy ndogondogo when they come in. But when you get the virus, the ability of the body to fight the virus is reduced.
Have you ever seen this before?
Yes.
What is it?
No.
Louder. Yes, she's right. A female condom. It's not for men who have a big penis. It's for women.
It is the sign of a female
Condom.
You see this one? Like a mirror. Huh? So that is a sign of a female.
So imagine this is the entrance to the body of us women. We call it vagina. You understand that word? So it's down here, right? With us women. So the girl takes the femidom and pushes it on her own with the longest finger inside the vagina. Just anyhow. And the outer ring stays outside the body. The male sex goes inside that kind of bag. So the sperms, they stay inside that bag and don't go into the women's bodies. So it's a protection, like the condom. After the sexual intercourse, you turn it, that the sperm stays inside, and you just pull it out. And then you throw it into the bin. What we've learned, what we've heard for all the groups, we learned about the ways of transmission. We know that we have to use condoms. We know when we have to take a test to know the status. We heard about other sexually transmitted infections like syphilis, like chlamydia, like hepatitis. We know that there is therapy that can't heal HIV, but it can keeps you alive, that you won't die of HIV. We know that we shouldn't discriminate HIV positive people, that we don't stigmatize them. We know that God helps us to accept the infection once we live with HIV. And some of your messages were AIDS is real, abstinence until marriage, and keep faithful. Don't discriminate HIV positive people. And HIV doesn't respect color, age, or sex, or if we are women or men. It's a virus that's just transmitted. It doesn't care how old we are, or if we are a girl or a boy, or if we're white or black.
What a topic. We all know about it, but we have reached a point where we are about to ignore it. And that is why we're using the beauties of this nation to spread the gospel. So, Miss World Kenya is going around the country, the institutions, trying to break the boundaries, trying to break these myths of if you have sex with someone and you think he or she's got AIDS, you can take a shower and it's whoosh, gone. We're working with these beautiful ladies so that they themselves will tell you that AIDS can be found in anybody. It doesn't matter whether you're beautiful, you're tall, short, brown, dark, fat or thin.